Shan-E, as Jitendra uncle would always say to us, Shan-E is as much ours as it is theirs, and they have never failed to show us otherwise. Hi, so my name is Manjot Brar. Most of you will probably know me as Jot. I have been dancing since I was 5 years old. I joined Shan-E when I was about 10, when the Vancouver studio first opened. I believe it was in 2010. So most of my dancing has been with Shan-E, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Shan-E has given us a huge sense of family, whether that's with our coaches. Jitendra uncle, Pinda Paji, Mandy Paji, everybody has become part of our family. Shan-E has given me most of my closest friends, if not all of my closest friends have been through Shan-E. I first started with Shan-E doing Giddha at the Vancouver studio when Ritu auntie actually used to teach in Vancouver. Me and auntie always joke about how when I first started, I had no sense of rhythm. She doubted that I would ever be able to do Giddha. 11, 12 years later, and here I am dancing competitively, coaching at Shan-E for the past couple years as well for Giddha. Honestly, Shan-E has given me the best memories of my life outside of, school and family. So growing up, Shan-E has given me some of my most establishing memories. One of my closest friends, Rajveer, we've been connected because of Shan-E mostly. Even though she has now moved to the States, Shan-E brought us together and we started dancing together, and we're still the bestest of friends. And she actually crosses the border every time we have practice to make it to practices as well. So Shan-E is clearly a huge part of all of our lives here. I started dancing at the age of 5. It wasn't with Shan-E, but I did bhangra. And then growing up, there wasn't many clubs that did Giddha or taught Giddha. And especially in Surrey, yes, Surrey, you will see a lot of clubs popping up. You still do, but in Richmond, where I'm from, or Vancouver, there was nobody. And I remember when Shan-E first came to Vancouver, it was huge. It was really important. My mom saw that they taught Giddha, and my mom jumped on it right away. I believe the studio used to be on Fraser and 41st or something like that. It was upstairs, I remember, and. That's where Shan-E started in Vancouver, and that's where I joined Giddha. So when Shan-E first started in Vancouver, it was only the weekends. It's hard, right? It's hard to build students, and now when you look at the Vancouver studio, it's packed. We run classes 7 days a week there. But when we first started, it was only the weekends. Saturday mornings would be for Giddha. We'd come to Giddha. And then later on in the evening, I think around a little bit past noon, we'd be at bhangra with uncle for hours sometimes, depending on what was going on that day. If there was competition, then longer. After doing Giddha in Vancouver, Ritu auntie, I owe everything to Ritu auntie. Ritu auntie taught me, the basics, and she saw that me and my sister Ripon, we actually, we could do Giddha, right? We picked it up, we did well. She contacted the instructor in Surrey at the time saying, hey, I have 2 girls that are, that can dance competitively in Surrey if you need them. After a couple years of Ritu auntie saying that, hey, I have these 2 girls, we finally got the chance when there was a competition. My first Giddha competition in Fresno, I believe, California. It was an outdoor competition. I can't remember the exact name of it. And that's where I got introduced to a bunch of my new closest friends. Greena, Jasu, and Jasmine, I believe, were on that team. So from there, we saw a lot of ups, we saw a lot of downs. We did we did have practices where, girls would get emotional, some girls would not make it, some girls would get into a little bit of an argument because, why aren't you committed? We're competing, why aren't you committed? But, here we are years later, still connected, still going strong. So my first live performance was in 2017. It was for our annual event, Nach Di Sham. The first of everything, is always the best. And I would never show anybody that performance as, hey, I do get that. This is what it's about. But we have progressed a lot over the years. Our BABG performance in California, if you watched it, has 5.5 million views currently. I don't know what it's going to be at when this gets posted. Yeah, we have progressed, and our vocals and everything have improved tremendously. All thanks to our coach, Preeti. One of my favorite memories would be after BABG, we went to Bhangra in the 6 in Toronto. We got first place there, and I remember the whole team, including the coaches, including the people that were cheering us on from back home. Everybody was super happy. I remember receiving a call from Jitinder uncle. He was so proud of everything that we had accomplished. The changes that have come from our Giddha in 2017 to now 2021 take a lot of credit towards the coordination between the girls. We were able to build a strong team where we had our vocals in sync, and the Tolki was amazing with us, and coordinating the Tolki and the vocals, we had a lot of help, and we grew essentially. I started, because of that growth that I had with Shan-E. I've been teaching with Shan-E, I believe, for 4 years now. I teach Giddha. I love teaching Giddha. I love the connection I have with my students now. They treat me as if I was their older sister, and it's great. Shan-E, growing up, has become my second home. Even through the toughest times that I faced, in my personal life, Shan-E has always been their backbone. Not even the toughest times, the happiest times. We've all celebrated together, weddings, Lodi, any events that do come forward, Vaisakhi, we are all connected as a community. Through all the location changes, all the changes in coaches, all the changes in management, or whatever happens, we are all still connected. Shan-E has never, the instructors of Shan-E has never have made us feel like we are, students, or we are not, Shan-E is not ours. Shan-E, as Jitinder uncle would always say to us, Shan-E is as much ours as it is theirs, and they have never failed to show us otherwise. With Giddha and Bhangra, we have gotten a lot of chances to travel. I've been to California many times, Toronto, even Vegas, because of Shan-E. Shan-E has given us the best memories, best travel experiences that we could get. And growing up, normal kids don't get to experience where their family just lets, because my closest friends were from Shan-E. I got to travel with my friends because of Shan-E, right? I think the reason our families were so comfortable with sending us on trips with Shan-E is because of the family atmosphere that Shan-E has always given us. Uncle guys, Pindapaji guys have always treated us as their kids, as their sisters. We got the love and respect everybody deserves from a studio, from essentially a family, right? One of my favorite memories of dancing would be actually with, this isn't specifically tied to Giddha, and this is actually just showing you how much of a family that Shan-E has given us. I believe it was 2014, 2015, one of those Bhangra idols. I had a really bad performance. And I remember my legs were hurting. I had shin splints during that time, and I still decided that, hey, I still want to compete, so I decided to compete. After the performance, I could barely walk, and I remember Jitinder uncle basically carried me backstage and saying, you did your best, going out the Hunda, good job, you performed well considering the circumstances. We were never put down because we had a bad performance. They always just said, you know, koi na agli wari sahi. And you know, 2017 to 2021, the ugly wari eventually did come. We went from having not the best vocals to having one of the best vocals. Our BABG composition, you will see it online everywhere. People use it for their weddings now, use our vocals for their weddings, for their daughters' weddings. And it makes us really happy when we see that, like people appreciating the hard work that we did put into that performance and showing us the love to that performance. And hopefully, you know, in the near future, we'll come up with better and we'll get better performances and we'll get as much love as we got for this one. One of my most embedded memories in my mind is actually from, I believe it was BABG. One of the girls wanted a watermelon and it brought up the whole discussion of, is it called a matira, is it a hadwana, or you know, that one person that calls it a tarbooj. That discussion came up and Binda Paji found out that, hey, these girls want watermelon. So what does this guy do? He goes to Walmart or whatever, picks us up a watermelon, gets a knife from the hotel downstairs and cuts up a watermelon for us. Not even one, I think he brought two watermelons. But yeah, that's the sense, you know, that's the love that we get from Shan-E, and I want to thank Shan-E for giving us, you know, the sense of family, the sense of closeness. Thank you for giving me basically all of my closest friends. And I can't wait to see where my future with Shan-E takes me.